my claim is that kids shouldn't play competitive sports because too many people will get injured through it and too many kids will get really badly injured, and it could lead to long-lasting injuries and other horrible side effects.
A large controversy that is often debated is whether or not children should play competitive sports because many people hold different opinions on this issue. One might object that competitive sports are beneficial to children because they might think that competitive sports can teach them life lessons or give them an opportunity to get good exercise, but I think otherwise. Competitive sports are not beneficial for children because they can get harmful injuries.
Hi, I'm Joey. A debate that has been red hot for a while now is whether kids should play competitive sports because many people have different opinions on this issue. I know that competitive sports for kids can keep their body healthy, but the risk of severe long injuries outweighs keeping the body healthy. And my reasons are brain damage, overuse injuries, and being hospitalized.
In the U.S., something that comes up a lot is children getting injured in competitive sports. Most injuries are not very bad. Example, a broken arm or foot with no injury. However, some injuries can become lifelong disabilities. I take the position that children should not play competitive sports. Children are put at too much of a risk when put on the playing field. Many injuries can occur from these. Some will say that injuries are good for children because it teaches them to play better. The thing is that sometimes there isn't something that can fix your bloody arm or broken rib. Some reasons for why kids shouldn't play are a lot of kids are getting injuries from overuse, concussions, or spiking up, and parents aren't caring enough for injuries as much.
So although there are some benefits to playing competitive sports, okay. Many people think that competitive sport injuries are rare, and if they do happen, it's just something small. But the risk of an injury happening is a lot larger than not think, and it could possibly be deadly. First section we have here is overuse injuries. This is Matthew's part. Another reason that young children should not play competitive sports is because of overuse injuries. Overuse injuries happen when people playing competitive sports push themselves past their body's limit. An overuse injury will tear muscles, break bones, and do other bad things to your body. One overuse injury is called swimmer's shoulder. This happens to swimmers when they swim too much and their shoulders start to hurt. According to CoachSafety.com, these are some symptoms of overuse injuries: muscle aches and soreness, swelling, decreased strength or speed, pain with exercise or activity.
Playing competitive sports gives a large opportunity for children to get overuse certain parts of their bodies. These are called overuse injuries. According to Darcy Stark, head athletic trainer for Christian Brothers High School in Sacramento, California, and the Sacramento Knights soccer team, as well as assistant athletic trainer of the Sacramento Monarchs, answers the question, how do you know an athlete has overused his or her body? Darcy Stark answers, the athlete will usually complain of pain that began without a specific incident and has progressively gotten worse. The athlete tends to either be starting a new sport or activity that their body was not properly conditioned for, or they are a year-round athlete who never stops their body to heal. This is important because many young athletes play more than one sport, and if that young athlete is not used to that sport, they will have pain. This is also important because children are getting specialized in a particular sport very early in their life, and especially if they play club sports. Now that they are specialized, they have a larger risk of having an overuse injury. According to Mayo Clinic, there are more than 3 million cases of RSI, or repetitive strain injury, which is the same thing as an overuse injury, are caused by competitive sports in the U.S. alone per year. This is significant because there are so many people getting injured because they overuse a part of their body. This needs to be recognized so that we can prevent overuse injuries from occurring, injuring people.
So my overuse injuries are, according to ABC News, kids' bodies these days are being pushed too hard with little time of rest. Overuse injuries are increasing for a couple of reasons. Sports are much more competitive at an earlier age, and many children are playing more than one sport year round. They're not getting enough rest. They're not getting enough time off their bodies to recover. Kids just like me need time to recover from working our body because our bodies are still growing, and getting little rest can cause harm to the body. Another example is, according to ABC News, last year Ashley, who is 12 years old, won a spot on her school's basketball team. She practiced for 2 hours every day after school, but the hard work took its toll on her. Her ankles began to swell, Ashley started to visit her school's athletic trainer for physical therapy for 3 weeks. She iced and wrapped her ankles, and yeah, going to camera.
A major issue in competitive sports is a lot of kids are getting injuries from overuse. Overuse is when a kid keeps on challenging themselves. When overuse occurs, quote, the tissue or bone eventually breaks, stretches, or tears. This is scary. It's scary because it could be your little brother, it could be your little sister, it could be anybody. All they have to do is push themselves too far. Quote, from 30% to 50% of youth sports injuries are due to overuse, according to experts at the Physician and Sports Medicine Journal. Most kids are being injured for this specific reason. That to me is alarming. I feel like if parents took the time to look at these kinds of things, nobody would want their kid playing very much.
Alright, and now we have our next region, which is concussions and head injuries.
Another reason why kids should play competitive sports is because of high risk of brain damage. Did you know emergency room visits for school-age athletes with concussions has skyrocketed in recent years, suggesting the intensity of kids' sports has increased, along with awareness of head injuries. The findings in a study of national data don't necessarily mean that concussions are on the rise. When a kid gets injured while playing a sport, it can affect them later in life. When you get hurt as a kid, it doesn't hurt as much as when you're an adult, because your body becomes less healthy and new. Another example of brain damage is there are more than 58,000 concussions every year while kids are playing football. Concussions that occur to kids' brain cannot just hurt them in the present, but also will affect them when they grow older. Like they could, I know football players who are older, they have a lot of memory loss, and once you're a kid, it won't affect you, but when you grow older, you could have memory loss.
The most common injuries are concussions, especially in competitive sports. Concussions are dangerous. They can lead up to horrible brain damage, some even paralysis. In fact, the number of reported concussions in youth sports has more than doubled between 2001 and 2012. This is just unacceptable. Why are we letting our youth hurt themselves all for a silly game? There is no reason why anyone should want their kid to get a concussion. None. It's horrible to think of people who know about this and yet continue to set their kids up every year. But with pressure from coaches and the golden ticket prospect of a college scholarship on the line, some girls may be forcing themselves back on the field before their bodies and brains have properly recovered. If we are going to let them play, why let them back on the field before they are okay? If anything, we should not let them back into sports until a doctor completely clears them, not just says, you can go back to school now. No, they need to be cleared to do the sport they wish to do, otherwise we are just making their lives shorter.
Competitive sports can lead to multiple severe injuries like concussions, and according to the bump.com, playing competitive sports at a young age, young children have a greater possibility to get bad injuries because they are less coordinated and have slower reaction times due to them being a developing child. These could affect them because they could be on a football field and they could be running down the field with the ball, and someone could hit them from the side and they would probably fall and hit their head on something and possibly be scarred for life. Okay, that was Matthew's part. Competitive sports isn't safe because of the fact that it is really impossible to really protect kids from concussions. The following text points this by saying, a recent study confirmed what any athlete who has laced up their cleats and pulled their shin guards on is already suspected. Girls soccer was named one of the most dangerous sports in terms of concussions, second only to football. So even though people have all of the guards on, like the head guard, the shin guards, and everything, there's no real way to stop a serious injury or a serious concussion. And our next slide is injury rates.
Competitive sports gives a large opportunity to just get overall injured, and many children get hurt playing a variety of sports. Almost all sports offer injury risk. According to Stanford Children's Health in the U.S., about 30 million children and teens participate in some form of organized sports, and more than 3.5 million injuries each year, which cause some loss of time of participation, are experienced by the participants. Almost 1/3 of all injuries incurred in childhood childhood are sports-related injuries. This is significant because a lot of children are getting injured every year and is taking away playing time for athletes. Many club team sports cost a lot of money. If an athlete gets injured and loses playing time, they will not get the playing time amount worth the money their parents are paying. Also, according to Children's Stand for Children's Health, in football alone, almost 215,000 children ages 5 to 14 were treated in hospital emergency rooms for football-related injuries. This is significant because in football alone, 215,000 children are getting injured. Imagine the amount of children getting hurt in all other sports. The amount of sports-related injuries needs to be recognized to ensure a child's safety.
Also, another reason is the overall health of the kids who participate in competitive sports. Recent research suggests that as many as 4 in 10 emergency room visits for children between 5 and 14 years old are for sports-related injuries. A little less than half of 10 people who go to the emergency are for kids who have sports injuries. More and more injuries are occurring in competitive sports, which is questioning parents if they will let their kids participate in competitive sports. As their training intensifies, injuries rooted in repetitive motion or overtaxed bodies are on the rise and putting them at a risk for longer-term problems as they grow older, according to local surgeons, sports medicine clinicians, and several recent released national studies. Kids can get injured while playing competitive sports. It's affecting their growth and it can be damaging to the body. Also, this is occurring during kids' growing years, so it's affecting their growth and their health.
Alright, so our almost near the end of our presentation, the long-lasting injuries is another reason why kids shouldn't play competitive sports. Some of these long-lasting damages could be very serious, ranging from just a broken arm to very seriously hurting young kids' bones, which can stop their growth and could even stop them from playing the sport altogether. Not only that, but it could leave horrible scars on their body as well.
Okay. Also, playing competitive sports can obviously give them an opportunity to get injury that will last their entire lives. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, stress fractures, ruptured ligaments, and a growth plate injury can cause lifelong problems. These are just some of the lifelong injuries children can get while playing competitive sports. This means that when children are still growing, they might have complications that will prevent them to accomplish many things they might want to do. This is significant because if children get a severe injury in their childhood, in some cases can prevent them from playing any more sports in the future. According to the American Medical Society for Sports Medicine, text states, in addition, this new report highlights several specific higher risk overuse injuries that may result in prolonged recovery and have the potential to endanger future participation. Although infrequent, some may lead to long-term complications. This shows that sports injuries can endanger the future of competitive sports for the child. This is also important because the injury may affect the child for a very long time. In the future, the injury might cause the child complications with the injured part of the body, preventing them from participating in any other sport.
And now we have reached the conclusions.
In conclusion, all my reasons about the concussions, the overuse injuries, and being hospitalized with the injury rates, I think that kids shouldn't be playing competitive sports because just because it keeps the body healthy, when you get injured and if it's a high risk of severe injuries, it outweighs just having fun or keeping your body healthy.
In conclusion, after listening through all of this, after listening through all the horrible things that could happen while playing competitive sports, playing a sometimes safe and fair and fun game isn't really worth the risk of you badly hurting yourself and taking really serious injuries that could hurt you later on in life.